Reely Reviews.
Hello, Nico. And Jay.
Hello.
Hello. We watched Hereditary. The four of us. Chow is also in the room right now. This is our second time recording this because Nico decided to unplug one of our cameras. Nico, what do you have to say for yourself?
I didn't realize we didn't charge it all the way, so I unplugged it.
You did a poopy.
I'm sorry.
You did a poopy.
It's okay. We only got in like maybe 30 seconds.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was 30 seconds of good content
That's true.
that we just lost.
I apologize. Which camera are we on?
Well, we're on you now. Yeah.
Viewers, I am so sorry you guys missed out on that potential fantastic content.
Yeah, Jay made like 4 or 5 jokes. Jay, have you been on the podcast?
Jay didn't make a single
Yeah, I was
joke.
on the Minions one.
Okay, you're on the main. So if you listen to the Minions one, you know who Jay is. This is Jay in the
Hello.
flesh. You look disgusted, Nico.
No, do you need a charger?
Nah, it's just gonna get hot.
I hear the fans.
Yeah. It's okay. All right.
Okay.
This is off
Okay.
the rails. We're already off the rails.
We watched Hereditary. The Hereditary.
It's just called it's just called Hereditary. It's just called Hereditary.
The Hereditary.
Do you consider yourself a horror fan, Jay?
I like horror films. I think they're good, especially if they're like suspenseful like this one. I don't really go out of my way to watch a lot of horror films, but I can't say I don't like them.
Chow, what about you?
I enjoyed it. I
Chow,
enjoy
okay.
horror films in general.
So Chow's not a horror guy.
Not at all. I get
Yeah.
very scared.
It was a scary movie. You were playing Pokemon Go the whole time. Yeah.
Helps me distract.
Yeah. Nico, are you a horror fan?
It depends. Yeah, to some degree.
I guess from doing this podcast, we've watched way more horror movies than.
Yeah, like I
think
would never
ever
go
would.
out of my way to go watch a bunch of horror movies, but like,
Yeah.
since we started this, I've watched a few more than I usually would.
And 3 of the horror movies that we've watched now, two releases this year, and then this have been A24 movies. So I guess it's kind of a trend for them. I don't know if that's how they got started, really. I don't remember what their like early ones were, but Hereditary is an A24 movie. It's one that we've heard a lot about. This is directed by the same director that did Midsommar, if you've seen that.
It's Ari Aster. He did Midsommar. He did Hereditary.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has anything. He probably has other things. I just don't know of them.
Yeah, but did you like the movie?
Yeah. Did you like it?
I did like it. I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
And then I felt
Nope,
a little
nope,
different
nope,
about
nope,
it at the
nope.
end.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into
Jay,
it. But
did you
Jay,
like it?
what did you think?
I also really liked it.
Nope. We'll get into that.
Okay.
Chow, did you like it?
Yeah, I really like the movie.
Chow liked
Glad
it.
you asked.
There's no way. Okay, there's no way anyone's gonna be able to hear you. But
I think they'll hear.
really
I
liked
think,
the
I think it
movie.
picks up.
Chow, okay, whatever. He's gonna sound really faint if he does. But Chow liked the movie. I think we all liked the movie. We were all
Yeah.
glued to the screen.
Yeah, it was a good
That's
movie.
for sure.
It was a good movie, right?
It was good. Yeah,
Okay.
it was good.
Let's go plot, and then we'll get into the
right.
into the everything.
I don't want to spoil a lot of the plot though if we do it.
So like the Hereditary.
Yeah, so somebody says it's Hereditary
You
time.
want to do the plot? You can do the plot.
I don't even know what the plot is, honestly.
All right, then I'll try with the plot. You learn on screen with just text, kind of long text that wasn't up on screen for that long. I
Okay.
don't think I read the whole thing.
When the matriarch of the Graham family passes away, her daughter and grandchildren begin to unravel cryptic and increasingly terrifying secrets about their ancestry, trying to outrun the sinister fate that they have inherited. That's
Yeah,
Hereditary.
that's Google, I am assuming.
That's what pops up on Google. Honestly,
Yeah.
let's just go with it.
Let's go with that. I think talking about anything else with plot would spoil it.
Or it can, and that's fine.
Yeah. I think a lot of the good stuff was character building, especially with the mother in the movie. Who can you look up the actress for that? But she was like fantastic, and really like the first half of this movie is her dealing with the emotional struggle of the events. Or at least that's at the forefront. I saw that as like her dealing with the emotional struggle of the events that are happening. Who's the actress?
So If you've seen Knives Out, she's in that. Her name is Toni Collette. She plays Annie Graham. There's Alex Wolff, who's Peter Graham. Millie Shapiro is Charlie Graham, and then like those are the main three characters you kind of follow.
Who played Steve, the dad?
The dad is Gabriel Byrne.
Okay.
Besides that, those are like your four family members.
That's really who the movie's about. It's about this family that's dealing with these tragedies and what's going on. I think that's a streamlined way to do the plot without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
There's some crazy shit going on, and this family is dealing with it. The four of them are really the front and center of the movie, of the writing. The mom especially, fantastic performance.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What else did you like about this?
I like the way it was shot.
The way it was shot was really good. There were a lot of cool details that we saw when we went back through. We didn't actually like watch it all the way through. We just kind of rewinded and went to certain points that we remembered, but we were not quite sure on if somebody was in a certain location or if something was in a certain location.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
And
good
there were a
enough,
lot of details that they hid in there.
It was good enough for us to go back and want to find what those details were. I think
Yeah.
we were curious about what things had been planted, but like for me, just on a basic level, the like very slow pan from the beginning, like almost every scene in like the first 10-15 minutes had just this slow pan that was like, okay, something's gonna pop out.
It
Something's
continued through
gonna
the
pop
whole
out.
movie, right?
Yeah, it did, but like just setting that tone early for me was like, wow, this is like it was creepy. Like I was scared from the beginning, and nothing had really happened. I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah,
what did you think about that?
Okay, yeah, Jay.
I also agree with like Nick. A lot of the cinematography was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the little details like continued throughout the entire movie, even to like the end. Like you just kept picking up on stuff, and it just builds up to the very end into this one scene that we'll probably go over later.
Yeah, and spoilers will go over.
But I thought it did a really good job with building up a lot of this tension, especially in the main mom actress, and she did a really good job with like her dealing with stuff and like her fear, especially with like a lot of the events that happens, and she's like having trouble like accepting some stuff and like dealing with a lot of it mostly.
Yeah. So, what did you think about like the direction of the story? Because that is, I think it's a more of a character movie. Because if I had to categorize it that way, character versus story, but it still had us gripped. Like the story still had us gripped because there's just a lot of shit that happens that you're like, why is this happening? You know, there's some element of the paranormal. What did you think about that?
I really liked the story. I'm not gonna lie. So the film I don't want to say it was slow, but nothing too odd or too peculiar happens for maybe like the first hour.
I think
honestly,
longer than that.
Maybe even more than that. Yeah.
An hour.
Yeah, like we didn't notice these things when it was happening, but when we went back, we were like, oh, these things were happening. But like nothing too crazy.
You're talking
happened.
about just the paranormal things, right?
Anything paranormal,
Yeah.
anything super trippy, anything super
yeah.
scary. Nothing happened for like the first hour at least. And then it all started to kind of kick up, and I thought that was good. I thought it was going to happen a lot sooner. Like within the first 10 minutes, I thought something would happen.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want them to. I didn't like when they introduced the paranormal stuff. Like, I guess for me, like, I thought it was stronger as that slow burn. And that's not for everybody. That's the sort of I think this is what A24 is sort of known for, like these slow burn type horrors.
Yeah, I'll mention something later, but because it's just spoiling at this point if I mention it. But yeah, you're right. I think a lot of their films have these slow burns, and I think they're good usually. Yeah,
I like the slow burn style. I think it works in this. I think it works in a lot of the A24 movies I've seen that are horror. That being said, and I think we covered most of the things that I think we liked. Unless there's anything you want to add, I think I just want to get into like what I didn't like in a non-spoiler sense. If I can.
Already?
I don't know. What else did you?
This is like their best horror film. This is honestly, I think, one of their better films too.
Okay, yeah. I guess I'm sounding like I didn't like it. But
no, we all liked it. We all were having fun. We were all making jokes too at certain points. even though this is supposed to be serious, the film, but
The one thing we were doing was we were shushing each other when we wanted to hear what was going on, which means we actually really cared about the movie.
it's fine. We also went back and still played that few seconds that we missed, but yeah. I don't know, Jay, were there any things that you kind of noticed that you were like, oh, that's really good, or that's like really something I enjoyed from this film?
I think the sound did pretty good as well, and like as Nick mentioned, like we were shushing each other, and I think like there was a lot of suspenseful moments where it wasn't like completely quiet, but you could still feel like the tense music building up.
Yeah.
And like one of the characters like has like a clicking noise, and that pops up especially like at random times. That was like that definitely like surprised me, especially the first time it happened. I don't want to spoil anything right now, but it was definitely, I was a little scared.
I know. You and Chow, whenever the little clicking or something was happening, like just anything small, you and Chow were just going, ah! And then we were all going, ah!
Yeah, with movies like this, I always wonder like what the experience would have been like had we been in a theater for that, because like those sound effect scares or like little like things when you got the loud surround sound speakers are, I think they're more noticeable. Like in the theater for sure. Like they definitely would have scared me more had we been in the theater.
I think they were noticeable enough on a TV.
Yeah.
I can invest in some speakers if that's what we're saying, but like
build a home theater out here.
We could. But like I don't know. I think you were still able to pick up on everything. At least auditory.
Yeah.
That was provided.
Yeah. Yeah. The sound was really good.
You're gonna get into the things you don't like.
There's really one thing that I don't. I don't know. Okay, this is.
Is this a spoiler?
No, this isn't a spoiler, but like, I think the movie built really well. It built really well, and then climaxed, and then like, for me, it just really dropped off, and I did not like the way it ended. And I'll get into why I didn't like it, but like, I don't want to make it sound like I didn't like the movie. It's just like it didn't nail the ending for me, and so like that's like I don't know. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth where I'm like, it could have been more. I kind of felt the same way about Midsommar, and we're not reviewing Midsommar, but I kind of felt the same way about Midsommar. These two movies share a lot of similar like plot beats. I thought
it was the same director.
Yeah.
So yeah,
a lot of stylistic similarities, but also just plot beats. Like it was like, okay, we're doing this now. Like it was just on the same type thing. And then the ending felt, and you even said something to me at the end. The music at the very end sounded like a Midsommar song.
Yeah, I could have sworn it was like just, well, okay, this was made before Midsommar.
Yes.
So, in retrospect, that would have been the Midsommar used this song. Or whatever.
Yeah. So I guess this is the movie that should get more credit for being original. But
either way, both movies had like a very similar song, whatever it was. I could have sworn it was the same one. Maybe not. Probably not.
If it wasn't the same one, it was probably the same composer or same, style of what they wanted. It's a very climactic, creepy song, but it's like, I don't know. I was like, I've seen this before. It fell a little flat, and it was like, I don't know. If the ending didn't really do anything that I didn't expect. I guess it was weird, but it didn't do anything I didn't expect because I felt like the whole movie was building to that, especially with like the last 15 minutes.
But that doesn't necessarily make it a bad film or make any of that ending bad, right? Like I saw 7, and you walked in right as the ending was happening, and I called out from the beginning of the movie. I was like, oh, I know what's gonna be, what the ending is. I knew what it is because I heard the "What's in the box" meme, but I didn't know actually what's in the box until I watched the film. But I still took a guess, and I was right.
I don't know. For me, like the ending wasn't anything. I wasn't really expecting anything, so I didn't really think it was that bad. I think like it was building up towards that towards something, and like Nick said, it was just like we're doing this now, and I wasn't really aware or like prepared for what was going to be at the ending. And it was definitely kind of like out of pocket with how it ended.
Yeah,
but I didn't think it didn't really. I think it did what it did.
Well, I guess your perspective is a little different too, though, because you haven't seen Midsommar like Nico and I have. So like you got the experience of seeing those like story beats, I guess, in a fresh way. I don't know, just to me it didn't feel super fresh, but like we can get into it more in spoilers.
I didn't mind the ending too bad. We were still asking questions the entire time after watching the ending too. Still, like through the whole thing, we were like, "What's this? What does this mean? Who is this? Why are they doing this? Why is this person doing this?"
Yeah.
Like I think the fact that we were still asking questions means it wasn't terrible. Like it was still engaging enough that we were still interested, right?
I was still interested. I wanted to see how it was ending.
Like
there were still some unanswered questions that I was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
And we were obviously talking about it. But like, I think we can get into it more in spoilers. We've been going for 15 minutes now. Do you want to give it a score? You want to start, Nico? Or?
For a score,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it. Wait. I'm gonna give it an 8.6. Sorry,
Okay.
8.6 if I was not speaking into the mic.
All right, 8.6 from Nico. I will go... Okay, I'm like... I don't know. When I was watching it, I was thinking like, oh, I like high eights, and then like for me that ending was like, I don't know. I'm gonna go 8.3. I'm gonna go 8.3 because I was like, this is really really good. It's doing everything I like. This is the best horror movie I've seen from A24, and then it was like, I don't know. Jay?
I give it probably around 8.5. I think the ending was like fine for me. Like it didn't really like ruin anything for me. I was like happy as it was, but it wasn't really anything. I wasn't mind blown by the ending or something like that.
Yeah. And I think that's part of why I didn't like the ending, because I felt like it was trying to be mind blowing. Did you want to give it a score?
Yeah, do you have a score, Alan?
You can just say it and we'll...
I thought it was a flat 8, honestly. I kind of agree with
Really?
that.
Okay. Flat 8 from Chow. That being said, Chow was on his phone a lot, as we said before.
Look, Chow is not a big horror fan, so he's going to give it an 8. That's fine. Honestly, I had it on track as a 9. Sure, the ending wasn't the greatest thing. That's maybe why I dropped slightly down to like an 8.6, but I still thought it was a really good movie.
It was really good. I don't just hand out a score in the 8s lightly. Like it's well deserving to be in the 8s. I think all of us have it in the 8s for a reason. Like it's a really good horror movie. Like
Would you
definitely
say
worth seeing.
This is one of A24's better films?
Yeah, I think this is the best one I've seen of theirs.
What? Even
Yeah.
over like Uncut Gems?
No, it's best horror. Sorry.
Oh, best horror film.
horror. I think this is not on the level of Uncut Gems in my eyes.
Wait,
but
Uncut Gems was A24?
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Okay.
And Adam Sandler.
I know
Yeah.
Adam Sandler was in it.
And Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett was in it?
Playing himself.
We'll talk about that movie later at some later date. But do you want to do spoilers? I can just spoil the thing. It's called Hereditary. There's a obviously hereditary thing going on with, the grandmother dies and then stuff starts happening to the family.
Yeah,
so
some
the daughter
ancestral
dies.
lineage, yeah.
The daughter dies, and it turns out in the mother's lineage is this curse of this god of hell or something. Right?
Yeah, one of the 8 gods of hell, or one of the 8 keepers of hell, something like that.
Yeah, and that god from hell is just like worshipped by this cult that is revealed at the end. I'm jumping ahead a
he
little
essentially morbs into other people.
bit. Really, the turning point for the plot is when you find out, or when the mom finds out about this thing, and then that's when it turns to the full paranormal like stuff, where you learn that everything's been cursed.
So she thinks that she has been able to get in contact and talk with her newly deceased daughter, and then she finds out it's not her daughter. Well, I don't know if she explicitly says that she finds out, but
we find out
it's not her daughter.
Oh,
and
wait, it wasn't her daughter?
No, it was King Pampon. Tampon, whatever his name was.
King Tampon. Yep.
I don't remember what the name was, but it's King something. And he's like just taking over bodies of her family, but the thing is he favors that he wants to be in a male body, like in whatever family member of hers or descendant of her, it has to be like a male's body.
Yeah, like he prefers to possess male bodies instead of female bodies.
Yes, so that's why essentially like you just see a bunch of these women of her family just dying. and then
Yeah.
eventually they end up just leaving the son alive and taking over his body.
And presumably the grandma who dies off screen at the beginning was one of the possessed
Was one of the possessed
people
and then she
worshipped by
was
the cult.
right, and she was a leader and friends with people of the cult, and the people of the cult were just like trying to tell her to have her daughter, which is the mom, carry out the birth of their son, which she was opposed to in the beginning, and she even says like, I didn't want to have you. It's a whole mess. You have to watch it to understand
You
that.
really have to watch it to understand it. I guess it just really goes the direction of the paranormal and crazy by the end of it. And like, I want to say on a positive note, I liked how they tied stuff together from like different references, different characters. There's one lady that's like a part of this cult that you don't even realize is a part of the cult until the very end.
Mm-hmm. And then we went back. That's one of the things we went back just to find out, just to make sure she was part of the cult.
Yeah, and she was. And then the writing on the walls. Like, just a lot of the
That was
cool
really
visual stuff. Like, that's what keeps this movie in the 8s for me. It's like they really tied... They were planting seeds...
All throughout the beginning of the film, and then they were all called back
just
upon.
throughout the whole thing, they called back upon him. Like, it was really, like, very meticulously planned out. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, that's one of the things.
Everything about that was like fantastic. That's what makes me say best horror movie, because it was like everything's there for a purpose. Every shot is hiding something that means something. Like, and you're not going to pick up on it. It honestly is the type of movie that would warrant a second viewing. I mean, we went back through and just looked at various shots, but like
we'll watch it again at some point, probably.
Yeah, it's definitely the type of thing I'd like to return to. I mean, it's scary as hell, but like it's good. It's good.
Yeah, I also liked how they were kind of like unraveling the mystery of like her whole family and stuff like that.
The whole lore.
Yeah, as like we're going through it, especially with like the visual cues, there was a lot of like stuff that you had to see on screen and really like pay attention to. Especially like there was words on the wall that I didn't even notice until like Nico had pointed it out, and then we went back and just like
we would pause.
It was like really small,
yeah.
and like you didn't even notice it. And like there was just like a lot of clues, especially like with the triangle in the grandma's room, like at the very beginning, like that still calls back till the very end.
Like the most random things you wouldn't expect were clues that were just like right under your nose the whole film.
Yeah, which was really cool. And the other thing I wanted to draw upon as a positive was like a lot of the and I guess this is kind of a horror trope, is like there was a sleepwalking character and like a lot of stuff that happens in dreams, and then characters wake up, and like I thought that
we're in spoilers. Just
I don't know. Like there was like one where actually Alan mentioned the mom is sleepwalking, but she's dreaming of a time when she was sleepwalking. It's really complicated. Anyway, like she was drenched in
paint thinner.
Paint thinner, yeah. Drenched in paint thinner, and so was her son, and it was like she had a match, like she was about to kill him, so she's dreaming this, like I don't know, just a lot of cool visual stuff like that, where
it was a conversation between them, and they were rapidly cutting, and then all of a sudden one cut they were completely drenched in paint thinner, and then they would cut back and they were still completely drenched in paint thinner between the two. And we were like, what the hell is happening? And
their relationship, the son and the mother and the daughter, like those were the things that were the most compelling about this movie to me. Like those were like, okay, like I'm very intrigued by this, and that's part of what I didn't like about the ending. It kind of just ditched those things that it was building on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think of it more as like this spirit was trying to knock down all of these dominoes, and then it eventually just got to the last one, and it's like, okay, I am at the boy. That's the end of the movie. And I was like, that's honestly all it needed to do.
Yeah, it just simplified things more for me. I don't know. I guess I liked the aspect of like, okay, she is struggling. Like from the beginning, she's like, my mom had a horrible life. All of her like siblings had killed themselves. Like everything, like she went through all this crap, and the mom's clearly struggling emotionally. And then after the daughter dies, it seems like an accident, which was gruesome. Like, oh my gosh. But like that to me was like, okay, her character is extremely interesting to me. She's clearly struggling with depression, but doesn't want to face it. She's holding a lot back, you know? Like, I don't know. That stuff was, I thought, the movie's strongest moments, and then it kind of just ditched those for the paranormal, as Jay said, out of pocket, ending, which kind of was. It was just a bunch of naked people
She
wandering
climbed on
around the
ceiling.
house.
She climbed on the ceiling like Spider-Man.
Exactly.
No, it's like with that, like they were building up pretty like slowly throughout the entire thing.
It was
and, like,
a very slow burn for most.
and then
of
they
it.
pick up with the paranormal stuff, but then like the last 10 minutes, it just like goes by really quick.
Yeah, if they showed her, okay, the thing that I had the only issue with was that they didn't explain why they ended up burning the dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
there was no explanation about that. I mean, he's not even a member of the
she
family.
throws the book in the fire and her arm catches on fire, but then he. No, what did he do? No, she throws the rest of the book in the fire.
Yeah,
right?
he's not even the one who threw it in.
And then he catches fire. I didn't understand that. That's the only issue I had. And then besides that, it would just be like they didn't show her becoming entranced at the end, did they?
No, they did because there was the blue light thing, which I actually like the blue light thing too. Like showing who was getting possessed was like they were sort of
Oh
this
yeah,
blue,
yeah.
this
You're
blue
right. You're
light
right,
like
you're right.
entered their body.
Yeah,
I think that helped like piece together. The
yeah.
whole puzzle.
That was a good visual aid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like very, very well planned out and well done visual stuff.
That's what Ari Aster like does.
Yeah,
If you remember watching that Midsummer, there were a ton of like small details through that. Like the clothing people were wearing, they had like actual, like runes, like I don't know what they're called, runes, whatever, from the Scandinavian peoples from way back when, and some of those actually like were real things that meant like death, or this person is like living or something random, like just random little things like that, just hidden throughout the film that I would not have known if I didn't look it up on Reddit or on Google, wherever I found those.
Yeah, and so those types of things really like elevate the movie. But then like I don't know, it's just like it could have been so much more. And I think we were sitting here saying the same thing about Men, and I think if we were going to review Midsummer, I would say the same thing about Midsummer.
Men didn't do it as well as this.
No, definitely not. I'm just saying in the sense that like it fell flat at the end. I don't know, it just like it could have been more. Like in Men, maybe not, didn't plan as well, wasn't as
Yeah, I don't think they included enough details to show certain things or
Like,
to explain some things.
Like I don't think I was unsatisfied with the ending.
No.
I think it was fine.
Yeah.
I was
Oh, really?
unsatisfied with the ending.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I just because I liked so much they were building towards, and then I felt like they just didn't. I don't know. I know everyone likes this
Like
movie. I liked the
understand.
movie.
Yeah, right. We're not saying you didn't. It's just I don't think it was as unsatisfying as you say it may have been. Like,
I guess,
like it had everything that it needed to.
yeah, it just was like the movie was building so well without shock value. Here's another spoiler. There's literally no jump scares. Like there's a few, maybe like,
one, but I don't think any of us jumped.
But it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like The Black Phone where I jumped out of my seat a couple times, or Watcher. Like they weren't relying on jump scares. Like it built so slowly, so well, and like had me creeped out more in the sense of like, damn, like this family is struggling. They're sitting there yelling at each other over the dinner table. I'm like, okay, that like I don't know. That scene was really intense, really well acted. I don't know. It just like it took a lot of the things it was doing well, which was the really cool visual stuff. Really, really good acting, letting the characters thrive with a really good script. And then it was just like, yes, naked people are in the fucking yard. Like, that's, I don't know, that's kind of how I was like, oh, okay, cool. Naked people are in the yard, and there's a guy standing in the doorway with his dick out. Like, that
was funny.
Like,
it was funny.
That was my favorite part.
You've watched The Boys.
I don't know. I guess I just went on a little rant there, but like, I just like it could have been so much more. I don't know. I just like I really like the movie, and that's why I am like upset right now because I'm like I liked it so much that I know it could have been better.
He liked it so much that he hates it.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay, did you like it as much as he hated it?
Yeah, I think like the ending, like I see where Nick's coming from. Like it definitely could have done more, but to me, I thought it was like it was where it needed to be. It was just like some weird ass cult scene. I was like, okay, I guess this is like where it's going. Especially like 5 minutes before we see them all like the son like running from all like the cult members and jumps out the window, and I was like,
and then he gets possessed because you see the blue light come onto his back, and then yeah,
that's pretty much it.
for everything they set up, I think the one loose end that they didn't execute on maybe at the end, I think it's fine. I'll give them a pass.
Yeah,
they did so many things so well in this movie.
They did. It wasn't bad. I don't know. I guess like I thought there was a route that they could have gone that wasn't fully leaning into the paranormal, and I honestly, like, thinking back to Midsommar, that movie wasn't really paranormal either.
It wasn't at all.
It was just kind of Florence Pugh's character leaning into her insanity and like her path of mental illness that she was already on.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was like, why couldn't this movie have done that? I don't know. I would have liked it more. I don't know. I think this is still better than
but
Midsommar.
Then it's just a bunch of crazy people just hearing clicks and clacks, and then they're just like, "Oh my god, I can talk to my family members." Like, that's just schizophrenia.
Sure, but then there was Steve who wasn't buying it, and I don't know. They could have done more with him too.
Well, okay, wait. But then what about the moving glass and like the moving chalk? Like, that had to be paranormal.
Yeah. Once you went into the moment of the seance with
Joni, meeting Joni.
Yeah, at that point it was over. Like,
what do you think?
I think like when Peter kills his sister with the car, like I think that that's like where it was hooking me and stuff like that.
And that happens within the first like 30 minutes maybe.
I didn't think it was like really slow at the beginning at all. It was just kind of just like
I think it's 40.
I think it was like 30. But
whatever. We were scrolling through. I don't remember exactly when.
It's still a slower burn than most horror movies, but yeah, that moment was like a shock, big shock. Yeah, it was well timed. I think.
Was it a shock?
Bruh.
She was leaning her head out the window. I knew exactly she was gonna get fucking beamed by something. I didn't know by what.
I think they did that cinematography really well, especially after she gets hit, and then he's like wants to look in the rear view, but doesn't, and it just keeps going.
Yeah, and Peter's character was really interesting too, because he had his own mental struggles. You know, we see him having sort of like panic attacks, and
he's in shock from all that. Yeah,
just later on, even, and like he's clearly struggling the whole time. I don't know. There's that untapped potential with those characters. Like I loved the character. Even the dad, he has the moment where he stops at the stoplight and he's just like, Jesus, I can't handle this anymore.
I think he was only there to remind us that he was the only normal person there.
Yeah, and
just to remind you, like, whatever the viewer is thinking, he's probably thinking it as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we could all just be like left hanging, thinking, "Oh my god, everybody is nuts."
But he also gets into the like mental illness sort of. He's drinking at work. Like we see him drinking at work. I don't know, just like little details like that.
Yeah, but I think that was more because he was stressed because he just had to keep dealing with whatever the hell that shit was at his house.
Sure, which is like totally understandable. Like, and think about it. From the moment until he literally burns to death, he does not believe in any of this paranormal stuff. Really,
even if he sees it, he still didn't believe it.
Yeah, which is,
or he was just like, okay, I don't want to do this. I'm gonna deny it.
I think that makes him the most relatable character. Like I think that's a good thing. Like I think that's what he was supposed to be. But like I don't know, they were just such strong characters. Like it was just such a strong character movie that I was like. And Midsommar was too. Like this director's clearly good at that, but it's just like I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too worked up over this.
No, I agree. No, I think like with Steve especially, like after he sees the body in the attic and comes down, he's like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, he's like, there's no other way. Fuck? Like you obviously had to like dig this up with all this like crazy shit that's happening, and like doesn't know about the therapy stuff at all, and it's definitely just like you're full of shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been this passionate about hating a movie though.
I forgot about the digging up the body. Wait, so I thought they were gonna go down the route like he was like, you've been sleepwalking. You're the one who dug up the body. I thought they were about to go down that route for a second. Oh
yeah.
Was that then probably just the spirit thing taking over his wife just every night, and she would somehow go dig up the body or do whatever it was, and she was working with Joni whether she knew it or not?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Like, how would they get the body upstairs?
Yeah, how would they have gotten it upstairs?
Joni just be...
I don't know. Honestly, the whole cult showed up naked in the house, so they must have had access somehow.
Yeah, I mean, they're a creepy cult. I don't know. I tend to believe, like, the mom... I don't know. The mom never... Yeah.
People were climbing on the ceiling. I'm not going to think too much about it.
They're just morbid.
Yeah. They were morbid, yeah. There's nothing wrong about it.
Really good movie though.
Morb or get morbed is what I'd say.
One of the more well done movies I've seen in a while. Like, definitely like had me glued to the screen. There were many moments where you and I were like, "That's really cool. I like what they did there with that edit or with that like the way the camera was placed with mirrors and stuff, like just stuff like that."
Well, Chow pulled up the thing later. He was like, okay, there's this transition between daylight and nighttime where they immediately just cut between the two.
Yeah.
But we didn't notice upon watching it, but he found it just on the internet, on Reddit, something,
Yes.
that the screenshot had, you could zoom in on the daylight and nobody's out in the front yard. When you zoom in on the nighttime, there's just people, naked people, all of the cult members just huddled all around the house, just like randomly in the yard. And I thought that was the coolest detail had we paid attention.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's a lot of stuff like that. So I got to give the movie credit. It did so many things well. I think it definitely like made us think more than most horror movies have. And so those are my final thoughts. It was really good, even though I was frustrated by the ending. Any final thoughts, Jay?
No, I think you summarized it pretty well. They did a lot of good visual like cues and stuff like that, and they really did a good job of tying it all together at the end. The mom and the son, definitely really good actors. Especially, I think the dinner scene.
Yeah,
like,
that was my favorite scene, I think.
And the ending was like, okay, could have been better.
Yeah. A quick look ahead. Well, I don't know when we're uploading this actually, but we're gonna have something special planned for next week. Okay. When I want to upload this, we're gonna have something special planned. If not, we can edit this out. But that's where we're at. Thank you guys for listening, and stay tuned for more rewinds and more episodes.
Whoa.
Anything else you want to say?
We gotta ask the viewers: are you a Peter or are you a?
Okay, all right.
Wait. Peter, what? Who do you
sister? Want? Charlie?
Yeah, Charlie.
Peter or Charlie? That's the new survey.
No. We're still sticking with
Morbid.
Morbid has to be included.
Morbid, Charlie, or Susie?
Okay, Morbid, Watcher,
Minion.
I'm
cutting us off. We're on the camera. Goodbye.
Who are you?
Bye, everybody.